Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English in Advance. I'm Jennifer, your host for today. If you're new here, we upload a new English learning video every single day to help you improve your English faster and more naturally. In today's lesson, get ready to unlock something incredibly useful 50 of the most common English phrases you can use in everyday conversations. These are the short, simple, and practical phrases native speakers use all the time. Once you know them, your speaking will instantly sound more natural and fluent. This won't just improve your listening and speaking skills. It will also help you express yourself more confidently in different situations. Whether you're talking to a friend, asking for help, ordering food, or just having a casual chat, these expressions will come in handy daily. We'll go through real-life conversational examples so you can hear how these phrases are used naturally and learn to apply them in your own daily speaking. By the end of this video, you'll understand and use these common phrases in real conversations with confidence and ease. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss our daily English learning lessons. Now, grab your pen and notebook, and let's get started. Let's begin with phrases people use all the time when greeting each other. Instead of just saying, hi, try using, hey, how's it going? Or, what's up? These are casual and friendly ways to start a conversation. For example, if you meet a friend at the store, you could say, hey, how's it going? And they might respond, not bad, just picking up a few things. That sounds much more natural than just hello. Another useful phrase is long time no see, used when you meet someone you haven't seen in a while. You could say, hey, long time no see. How have you been? Try practicing this. Imagine you see an old classmate. You say, hey, long time no see. And they reply, yeah, it's been a while. I've been busy with work. Now let's look at phrases for asking someone how they are. Beyond the basic, how are you? Try, how are things? Or how's everything? These are more relaxed and friendly. You can ask, how's everything going at work? Or how are things with your family? Practicing these questions with different topics helps you get comfortable. For instance, think of a friend who recently started a new job. Ask out loud, how's everything going with your new job? Then imagine their reply, it's going well, thanks for asking. To expand on greetings, consider also, how's life treating you? This is a slightly more reflective way to ask about someone's general well-being. For example, if you haven't seen a distant relative in a while, you might ask, how's life treating you these days? They could respond, can't complain, staying busy. It opens the door for a deeper conversation if they choose, but remains polite. Another common casual greeting, especially when you see someone regularly, is, how's your day? Or, how's your day going? This is perfect for colleagues, neighbors, or shopkeepers. For instance, stepping into a cafe, you could say, morning, how's your day going? The barista might reply, good so far, thanks. And yours. It's simple, friendly, and used constantly. Next, when you want to agree with someone, there are many natural ways to do it. You can say exactly or that's so true instead of just yes. For example, if someone says, learning English takes time, you could respond with, exactly. It's a step-by-step process. Or if someone mentions, it's been really hot lately, you can reply, that's so true. I've been using the fan nonstop. Practice this kind of agreement. Think of a simple opinion like, I think weekends are too short. Now respond with, totally. they just fly by. To add more to agreeing, consider "you're absolutely right." This is a stronger form of agreement. If someone makes a very profound or undeniable point, like patience is key when learning a new skill, you can say, "You're absolutely right. Rushing just leads to frustration." This emphasizes your full alignment with their statement. Another subtle way to agree is to say, "I couldn't agree more." This signifies complete agreement and is a bit more formal but still natural in many conversations. For example, if a colleague says, "We really need to streamline this process to improve efficiency," you could reply, "I couldn't agree more. It would save us so much time." This shows you're not just agreeing, but strongly support the idea. Sometimes we want to show surprise or interest. In these cases, you can use phrases like "no way" or "you're kidding." For example, if your friend tells you, "I won the lottery," you can say, "No way. That's amazing." These phrases help you sound more engaged. Practice reacting. If someone says, "I met a celebrity at the cafe," you can say, "You're kidding. Who was it?" Using the right reaction makes your conversation lively and natural. To expand on showing interest, try "tell me more." This is a great way to encourage someone to elaborate, showing genuine curiosity. If a friend mentions a recent trip, "I just got back from an amazing trip to Japan," you can respond, "Oh, really? Tell me more. What was your favorite part?" It keeps the conversation flowing and shows you're actively listening. Another excellent phrase for expressing interest or mild surprise is "that's interesting" or "how interesting." This can be used when you hear something new or thought provoking. For example, if someone shares a unique fact about history, "Did you know ancient Romans used to clean their clothes with urine?" You might say, "That's interesting. I had no idea." It's a polite way to acknowledge new information. When you want to ask for a favor or make a request, try saying, "Can you do me a favor?" Or, "Would you mind helping me out?" These sound polite and friendly, unlike a direct "help me," which can sound a bit too abrupt. You can say, "Can you do me a favor and check this email?" Or, "Would you mind giving me a ride?" Let's practice one. Imagine you need help moving a box. Say out loud, "Would you mind helping me carry this?" Now imagine the reply, "Sure, I'd be happy to." To add more ways to request, consider, "Could you possibly?" This is very polite and indicates that you understand it might be an inconvenience. For instance, "Could you possibly lend me $5 until tomorrow?" This sounds much softer than a direct demand. And for offering help beyond "Do you need a hand?" Component placement, try "Can I give you a hand?" or "Is there anything I can do?" These are warm and inviting. Imagine seeing someone struggling with heavy bags. You could say, "Can I give you a hand with those?" Or if a friend is overwhelmed with work, "Is there anything I can do to help?" These phrases show empathy and a willingness to assist. In situations where you're offering help, you can say, "Do you need a hand?" or "Let me know if you need anything." These phrases show you're willing to support someone. For example, if your friend is cleaning up after a party, you can say, "Do you need a hand with the dishes?" Or if someone looks stressed, just say, "Let me know if you need anything." Practice this by thinking of ways to offer help. Imagine you see a friend carrying books. Say, "Do you need a hand with those?" When you're talking about plans, a very common phrase is, "I'm down for that," which means you agree with the plan. If your friend says, "Let's go to the beach tomorrow," you can say, "I'm down for that." It's casual and sounds very natural. Another similar phrase is, sounds good. So if someone says, let's meet at 5, you can reply, sounds good. These are simple but important for confirming plans daily. Practice with this. Imagine someone says, want to grab coffee later? You respond, sounds good. I'll text you when I'm free. To expand on making plans, what are you up to? Is a very common casual way to ask someone's current or immediate plans. For example, if you text a friend, hey, what are you up to tonight? They might reply, nothing much, why? And you can then suggest a plan. And when you're suggesting something yourself besides how about and why don't we swing, you can also use fancy, especially in British English, but it's understood in American too for something light and fun, like fancy a movie tonight? Or the more direct, do you want to? For example, do you want to grab some dinner after work? These are all natural ways to initiate plans. Let's also talk about phrases for ending conversations politely. Instead of just goodbye, you can say, I'll catch you later. Or talk to you soon. These make the conversation feel warm and friendly. For example, after a chat, you can say, it was great talking to you. I'll catch you later. Try this now. Think of the last person you spoke to. Imagine ending the conversation with, talk to you soon. Take care. To offer even more options for ending conversations, consider, it was good to see you. This is simple and sincere, perfect for when you've genuinely enjoyed someone's company. You might say, well, it was good to see you. I should get going. Another very common casual sign-off is see ya. It's short, friendly, and implies you'll see them again soon. For a slightly more specific future meeting, you can add see you around. This suggests you'll likely run into them again, even without a specific plan. In many conversations, people often say things like, you know what I mean? Or right at the end of a sentence. These phrases help keep the listener involved. For example, you might say, it's really hard to stay. Focus these days. You know what I mean? Or, that movie was really slow, right? Practice this by adding these small phrases at the end of your thoughts. Take this sentence. This weather makes me sleepy. Now add, you know what I mean? And say it out loud. Let's pause here for a quick recap in the form of practice. Imagine you're meeting a friend after a long time. You might say, hey, long time no see. How's everything going? Then imagine their reply. Pretty good. Just been working a lot. You respond, yeah, same here. Work's been nonstop. Totally exhausting, you know what I mean? Then imagine your friend laughs and says, exactly. We all need a break. You both smile and say, let's catch up again soon. Your friend replies, sounds good. Talk to you later. Practicing these mini conversations will help you sound natural when speaking English. Now let's move on to some useful phrases for expressing emotions and opinions in everyday English. These expressions help you sound more fluent because native speakers often talk about how they feel using short, natural phrases. For example, if something makes you happy, you can say, I'm so glad to hear that. Or, that's awesome. If a friend says they got a new job, don't just say, good. Try saying, I'm so happy for you. That's awesome. It makes your response more engaging. Practice this with different good news. If someone says, I passed the exam, you say, that's great. I knew you could do it. To add more ways to express happiness, consider, I'm thrilled. Or, that's fantastic. These convey a higher level of excitement. If a friend tells you they just bought their dream house, you could exclaim, "That's fantastic. I'm so thrilled for you." It shows genuine joy. On the other hand, when you hear bad news, you can use expressions like, "That's too bad," or "I'm sorry to hear that." For example, if someone says, "My dog is sick," a natural response is, "I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope it gets better soon." Or if a friend says, "I didn't get the job I wanted," you can say, "That's really unfortunate. Keep trying. Something better will come along." Practicing your reaction to both good and bad news helps you prepare for real conversations. Try saying, "I'm sorry to hear that," followed by a kind or hopeful message. For more nuanced sympathy, try, "Oh no," or "What a shame." These are quick, empathetic responses. If a friend tells you their vacation plans were canceled due to bad weather, you could say, "Oh no, what a shame. I was looking forward to hearing about it." It acknowledges their disappointment without needing a long speech. Sometimes you need to show understanding or sympathy. Phrases like, "I get it," or "I know what you mean," help you connect with the speaker. If your friend says, "I've been feeling really stressed lately," a great response is, "Yeah, I get it. Life has been hectic for me too." These little responses are powerful because they show empathy. Practice this. Think of a sentence like, "I can't focus when it's noisy," and reply, "I know what you mean. It's hard to concentrate with all the distractions." To expand on empathy, you can also say, "That's rough," or "That sounds tough." These are very colloquial and convey immediate understanding of someone's difficulty. If a friend tells you they had a really challenging week at work, you could simply say, "Ugh, that sounds rough. I hope next week is better." Another phrase is, "I can imagine." This shows you're putting yourself in their shoes. If someone describes a difficult situation, like moving to a new city alone, you can say, "That must have been hard. I can imagine." It validates their experience. Now let's talk about asking for clarification or repetition. If you don't understand something, don't stay silent. Use polite phrases like, "Could you say that again?" Or, "What do you mean by that?" For example, if someone speaks too fast, you can say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" Or if they use a difficult word, say, "I'm not sure I get that. Can you explain it differently?" These phrases help you stay engaged and improve your understanding. Practice this by repeating, "Sorry, could you say that again?" Then imagine hearing the information more clearly the second time. For more precise clarification, use, "Could you elaborate on that?" if you need more details, or "Could you give me an example?" if you need a concrete illustration. These are excellent for both casual and more formal settings. If a professor explains a complex concept, you might ask, "Could you give me an example to help me understand?" And if you're not sure if you heard something correctly, you can try, "Did you say," for instance, "Did you say Tuesday or Thursday?" This directly targets the specific piece of information you missed. In casual conversations, people often use filler phrases like, "Let me think," or, "Well, you know." These give you time to think and sound natural. For example, if someone asks, "What's your favorite movie?" you might say, "Let me think." Probably something funny, like a comedy. Or if you're unsure, you can say, "I'm not really sure, but I'll check and let you know." Practicing these fillers makes your English sound more relaxed and natural. Try saying, "Well, I guess I'd say yes," or "Let me see. That might work." To expand on filler phrases, also use dot dot or dot dot. This is a very common sound native speakers make when pausing to think. It's not necessarily a word, but a natural vocalization. You can also combine fillers like, well, I guess so. Another useful phrase for buying time is, that's a good question. If asked something you hadn't considered, you might say, hmm, that's a good question. I haven't really thought about it. This acknowledges the question while giving you a moment to formulate an answer. When making suggestions, use phrases like, how about, or why don't we? These are friendly and common ways to offer ideas. For instance, if you and a friend are deciding what to do, you could say, how about we go for a walk? Or, why don't we try that new cafe? These expressions are softer and more polite than direct commands. Let's practice with this example. You want to watch a movie tonight. Say, how about watching something funny tonight? Now follow with a friend's reply. That sounds perfect. For a more casual suggestion, especially among friends, you can say, wanna grab? Or feel like? For example, wanna grab some pizza later? Or feel like going for a run? These are very informal, but widely used. Sometimes in conversation, you'll need to change the topic smoothly. Useful phrases include, by the way, or speaking of that. For example, you might say, by the way, did you hear about the new store opening? Or, speaking of movies, have you seen the latest one with that famous actor? These little phrases help you shift topics without sounding awkward. Try practicing. Imagine you're talking about lunch and then say, by the way, how's your brother doing? To add more to smoothly changing topics, consider, that reminds me. This is perfect when something in the current conversation triggers a memory or thought about another subject. For instance, if you're talking about summer plans and your friend mentions the beach, you could say, that reminds me, I still need to buy new sunscreen. Another way to gently shift is, anyway, or so anyway. This often signals that you're wrapping up a minor point or returning to a main topic. For example, after a brief tangent. Anyway, back to what I was saying about the project. It helps redirect the conversation without being abrupt. Now let's explore polite ways of disagreeing in English. It's important to disagree respectfully. Instead of saying, you're wrong, say, I see your point, but, or, I'm not sure I agree with that. For example, if someone says, online learning is always better, you could say, I get where you're coming from, but I think it depends on the person. Practicing polite disagreement helps you sound respectful in discussions. Try this. I see your point, but I'd look at it a little differently. To give more options for polite disagreement, try I beg to differ. This is a more formal but still respectful way to state your disagreement. For instance, in a meeting, if a colleague suggests something you disagree with, I beg to differ. I believe a different approach might yield better results. For a softer, more casual disagreement, I'm not so sure about that is excellent. If someone makes a broad generalization you don't fully agree with, like everyone hates Mondays, you could respond, I'm not so sure about that. I actually find Mondays quite productive sometimes. This expresses your differing opinion gently. When something unexpected happens, people often say phrases like, that's crazy, or I can't believe it. These expressions show surprise or amazement. If someone tells you a wild story, you can respond with, no way, that's insane. For example, I saw a bear near the lake. And you say, you're kidding, that's crazy. Try practicing your reactions to amazing stories. It will help you sound more engaged. Imagine someone says, I traveled to 5 countries last year. You reply, wow, that's amazing. I wish I could do that. To expand on expressions of surprise, you're joking is similar to you're kidding and equally common. I'm speechless is good for truly shocking or overwhelming news. If a friend tells you they won a major award, you could say, wow, I'm speechless. That's incredible. Sometimes you want to give reassurance. Common phrases include, don't worry about it, or it's not a big deal. These are used when someone makes a mistake or feels embarrassed. For instance, if someone spills coffee and apologizes, you say, don't worry about it, it happens. These phrases help calm the situation. Practice this by imagining someone says, I forgot to call you back. You reply, no problem at all, I know you're busy. To add to reassurance, consider, it's all good. This is very casual and means everything is fine, no need to apologize. If someone bumps into you accidentally, you can say, it's all good. No worries at all is another excellent way to dismiss a minor issue or apology. If a friend is late and apologizes profusely, you can say, no worries at all, I just got here myself. It's friendly and makes them feel at ease. Let's take a moment to combine some of the phrases we've covered so far in a practice conversation. Imagine this scene. You're at work. A colleague walks by and says, hey, how's your day going? You respond, not bad. A little busy, but I'm managing. Your colleague says, same here. I've got a lot on my plate. You nod and say, yeah, I get it. It's been nonstop lately. Then you add, by the way, did you finish the report? Your colleague replies, almost. I'll send it by the end of the day. You smile and say, perfect. No rush. Here's another scene. You're meeting a friend for coffee. You say, hi, long time no see. What's new? Your friend replies, I just got a new job. You respond with excitement. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. They say, thanks. It's a bit challenging, though. You answer, I know what you mean. Starting something new can be tough. They nod and say, exactly. You continue. So, how about celebrating this weekend? They reply, sounds good to me. Let's do it. You finish with, cool. I'll text you the details later. Talk to you soon. That kind of back and forth builds your conversational skills. Try practicing the same conversation with small changes. Replace the topic or the emotion and use the same structure. For example, instead of an art exhibit, talk about going to a park. The goal is to keep using the phrases in natural ways. The more you practice them in realistic situations, the more automatic and fluent your speaking will become. Now let's practice with a short exercise you can do out loud. I'll give you a situation, and you can respond with the most natural phrase you've learned. Ready? Scenario 1. Imagine a colleague excitedly tells you they just finished a huge, challenging project at work. What would you say to acknowledge their achievement and effort? Scenario 2. You're on a video call and the audio quality isn't great. Someone just said something important, but you only heard part of it. How would you politely ask them to clarify or repeat? Scenario 3. A friend texts you, let's binge watch that new sci-fi series tonight. You're completely on board with the idea. How would you express your enthusiasm and ask for more details about the plan? Scenario 4, you're rushing to leave for an important appointment and your keys are nowhere to be found. Your roommate is nearby. How would you ask for their immediate help in a polite but urgent way? Scenario 5, A close friend confides in you that they're feeling overwhelmed and a bit sad about recent events. How would you respond to show empathy and understanding, letting them know you relate to their feelings? Well done. Practicing like this helps you develop a rhythm in your speaking, builds confidence, and makes your English sound real and fluent. Don't just memorize these phrases, live with them. Use them in your real conversations and let them become part of your daily English. Let's introduce some phrases for expressing opinions and preferences. These allow you to share your thoughts clearly and naturally. First, in my opinion, or I think, are straightforward. For instance, in my opinion, the best way to learn is by practicing every day. Or, I think we should try that new restaurant. To express a stronger opinion, use I strongly believe that. Or, I'm convinced that. If you feel very passionately about something like recycling, you might say, I strongly believe that everyone should recycle to protect our planet. For preferences, use I'm a big fan of, or I'm really into. For example, I'm a big fan of historical dramas, or I'm really into hiking these days. And if you dislike something, I'm not really a fan of works well. I'm not really a fan of spicy food. Practice this. Think of a movie you love. How would you express your opinion using one of these phrases? Now think of a type of music you don't like. How would you state your preference politely? Next, let's look at phrases for making and responding to apologies. Apologizing and accepting apologies are crucial for smooth social interactions. For apologizing, I'm so sorry for and I is common. I'm so sorry for being late. For minor mistakes, my bad is very casual among friends. If you accidentally drop something, oops, my bad. To emphasize regret, add I really messed up or I take full responsibility. If you made a significant error at work, you might say, I really messed up on that report and I take full responsibility. When someone apologizes to you, it's okay. Or don't worry about it. Are simple ways to accept. To be more reassuring, no harm done. Or no worries. Are great. If a friend apologizes for canceling plans, you can say, no worries, I understand. No harm done. Practice. Imagine you accidentally sent a text message to the wrong person. How would you apologize? Now imagine a friend apologizes for forgetting your birthday. How would you respond kindly? Now let's explore phrases for showing encouragement and motivation. These are vital for supporting friends, family, or colleagues. You can do it is a classic. Simple, direct, and powerful. If someone is nervous about a presentation, say, don't worry, you can do it. Keep up the good work is excellent for acknowledging ongoing effort. If a student is consistently performing well, you might tell them, keep up the good work. When someone is facing a challenge, hang in there. Or don't give up. Offer vital support. If a friend is struggling with a difficult project, you might say, it sounds tough, but hang in there. You'll get through it. To offer help in a motivating way, let me know if you need anything at all, is very supportive. Practice. Imagine a friend is training for a marathon and feels discouraged. What phrases would you use to encourage them? Now think of someone who just started a new hobby. How would you acknowledge their effort and motivate them to continue? Let's dive into some useful phrases for asking for and giving directions. This is incredibly practical for navigating new places or helping others find their way. When asking for directions, you can start with, excuse me, could you tell me how to get to, or I'm looking for her? For example, excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the nearest subway station? Or, I'm looking for the city library. If you need more specific help, ask, is it far from here? Or, is it walkable? When giving directions, start with landmarks or key points. Go straight until you see. Or, turn left at the traffic light. Be clear about left or right. For example, go straight down this street for 2 blocks, then turn left at the red building. You can also use you'll see it on your right left. For instance, after you cross the bridge, you'll see the restaurant on your left. Practice. Imagine a tourist asks you for directions to the nearest coffee shop. How would you explain it clearly using a few turns or landmarks? Finally, let's cover some phrases for shopping and ordering food. These are essential for daily life. When shopping, if you need help finding something, ask, excuse me, where can I find reindeer? Or, do you have any? For example, excuse me, where can I find the milk? Or, do you have any gluten-free bread? If you're trying something on or looking at an item, I'm just browse. Is polite if a salesperson approaches? If you like something, I'll take this. Or, how much is this? When ordering food at a restaurant, can I get? Or, I'd like to have, are common. For example, can I get a cheeseburger and fries? Or, I'd like to have the chicken pasta, please. If you have a special request, could I get that without? Or, could you make that? For example, could I get that without onions? Or, could you make that vegetarian? Practice. Imagine you're at a clothing store and need a different size. How would you ask for it? Now imagine you're at a cafe ordering a coffee. How would you ask for it with milk and sugar? That brings us to the end of today's expanded lesson. I hope you found these common phrases useful and that the practice examples helped you feel more confident using them in everyday conversations. Remember, learning a language isn't just about grammar or vocabulary. It's about being able to connect with others in a natural way. And that comes from real consistent practice. So take these phrases, speak them out loud, and use them wherever you can. At home, at work, or even while thinking to yourself. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this lesson and want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, English in Advance, and press the bell icon so you never miss a daily English practice episode. I'm Jennifer, and I'll see you next time. Until then, keep practicing, keep improving, and take care.